Okay, pretty long day, and just thought I would share a little bit of my day with you. Let's get that lined up. Started off this morning, hit my stack, as you know. Still dark. Went to training, and no one else showed up. I was like, man, that really was not that great. Normally we get to train together, but it was just me, and got a good session in. I have previously had significant problems with my trainer pushing me too hard when it's been one-on-one, and then not being able to walk for like a week, well, not a week, like 4 days. But we had a conversation. I was like, look, I really like training. Exercise makes a difference for me, but I really don't like not being able to walk for a week or for 4 days. So we try to avoid that. I'm quite aware when I'm pushing through those limits, and I can tell that I'm going to be suffering. Also found that particular magnesium supplements seem to help my body. A long time ago, when I was a little bit more silly, I was working in emergency, pediatric emergency, and I was a GP Reg. And in this, I decided to run a marathon. Now, running marathon at that time, it was certainly possible. I trained for it, and the impressive time, not really, of 4 hours and 12 minutes, finished the marathon. The next couple of days, like, every step hurt so badly, so badly. But what I noticed is weeks, months, even years later, my legs would still hurt. We'd start training, and it would be like the end of the marathon. And finally, let's see, about 10 years later, when I'm training with my current trainer, Felicity, she's like, have you thought about taking some magnesium? And I'm like, nah, why would I need magnesium? Supplements, whatever. Anyway, I did magnesium regularly, and all of that experience went away. I do get a little bit of it, but nothing like I used to. Nothing like I used to at all. But at this point, I actually didn't finish the stack in time. I had to go training. I meditated when I got back, and I normally I've got a really nice one that I like. It's called I Am That I Am. It takes 12 minutes, lie in the car, just trained, meditate, came back home, green smoothie, chucked in some ginger. Ginger's really helpful because the green smoothie is like a lot of raw stuff. Most people aren't aware of this, but from a Chinese medical perspective, having a whole bunch of raw food is difficult. So you've got to balance it out with chili or with ginger. Chili in a smoothie, I'm not so excited for that. I ate a bunch of other cooked foods anyway. We had scrambled eggs on toast to warm up. I had a coffee that will warm the stomach. So I'm not overly concerned. And I have a generally warm to hot personality. Like, I'm not a cold person. I generally run hot. So at that point, I then wrote some messages I spoke to my sister on Signal. Jeez, it is late, hey? Send her a sig. She's at the end of a 5.5-year psychology degree, which is pretty impressive because she has got kids. She's completed psychology degree. She's looking at her internship next year. Annabelle, well done, mate. Super pumped for you. That is just a really impressive effort because you cannot be last minute. With kids, you don't know what's going to happen. You could be taken out. One of the kids gets sick. Something else comes up. You have to be organized. And this to me is a master skill. It's taken me years to be able to organize and get myself aligned. What was even worse, I was thinking about this the other day. A couple of weeks back, we were talking about procrastination and skill sets for dealing with procrastination. And one of them that I used to think was the problem was, okay, I'm not organized. And so I did a program called Getting Things Done. This is a really good program. Getting Things Done tells you what to do. It tells you how to deal with small things, do those immediately, how to delegate things, get rid of those that you shouldn't be doing, and the remaining ones, how to do them and how to organize them and have them in a list and do this, do this, do this. This does not help deal with the underlying problems of procrastination, which is I'm scared or I'm anxious about how this work's going to be done, how the result's going to be. is it going to get me the results? And ended up not doing it. So I would be very organized at not doing anything. But that isn't an option when you're dealing with a 5.5-year psychology degree. Like, the workload is significant, and Annabelle's done wonderfully well. I'm so proud of her, like super proud. So after this, went and did some acupuncture. My acupuncture marketing right now is failing miserably, and I had my one patient for this morning at 9:30 till 10:30. Little bit extra, like took a little bit extra time. Super fun. Like, Bhakti Atsu is a fun treatment protocol that my patient was ultra relaxed, very happy. She was like, "Do you do 6-hour sessions of this?" I'm like, no, I don't do 6-hour sessions, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the thought. And that is a Chinese medical concept, a concept that involves the idea of the meridians. Now, they certainly didn't teach me meridians at medical school. They probably didn't teach you. And if you're sitting exams, I would stay the hell away from any mention of meridians. But when I learnt Bhakti Atsu, I was like, well, that does appear that these tracts of tissue do have functions where they act simultaneously. The easiest way to think about it, if you're walking along and you see a snake or you see a rope that looks like a snake and you're like, whoa, that motion is activating erector spinae. It's pulling your neck back. It's pulling you out of danger. And it happens instantaneously. And it happens as one motion where all of those muscles get pulled back as one. And that is the idea of a meridian. That the muscles that connect to the tendons, connects to the bone, connects to the tendon, connects to the muscle, connects to the tendon, connects to the bone, is one long structure that can act as once. So I got to treat my patient. It was pretty cool. And then I have a problem. I have a significant challenge in my life. I got kids. I got multiple kids, 2 boys and a girl. And my son, my eldest son's playing soccer in Coffs Harbour. That's about a 2.25-hour drive from here. But tomorrow I'm working, and on Saturday we've got a wedding. So I got work, wedding. He's down there at this competition that goes today, tomorrow, the next day, and Sunday. And so I'm stuck with this problem of like, well, I may not get to see him play soccer at all. They might make the finals, and I could go down for that game, but they're not guaranteed of making the finals at all. And so today there was a guaranteed game, and today there was an opportunity to go down, but it meant driving to Coffs Harbour 2.25 hours, watching the game, and then driving back because I had to admit a patient tonight. And I'm like, oh man, that's a lot of driving. But what's really interesting is one of my son's team members, his dad, he had an accident and he popped 2 tires in his car. And I was like, okay. And he's like, can I get a ride back up? So he's like Yambo, it's an hour and a half up. So I drive him back, and then I go admit my patient, and then I'm speaking to you guys. And the question is how to do this. And I want you to consider the idea of the core 4. The core 4 is made up of 4 aspects. You get a point. You don't have to get a point, but if you track it, then it lets you know what you did that week and what you can improve on. And this core 4 is made up of 2 things for body, 2 things for being, 2 things for balance, and 2 things for business. Now, as doctors, some of those words may not mean too much. Hopefully the body, we got it. Body, yeah, very, very familiar with the body. What about being? Well, being is this idea that perhaps there is a hidden aspect to us, that there is a spiritual aspect to us, that may be a little esoteric. And then it's like, okay, well, how about a idea of being in the flow? I don't know whether you've had this experience. It fascinated me for years. It definitely still fascinates me, because when I get in that place, it's amazing. I want to be in that flow state. There's a being component, a human being. And I was like, okay, how do I get into that state? And it led me down the spiritual path. And this idea that perhaps there's a universe and there maybe little voices that talk to me in my head, which sounds horribly, horribly strange. I can't believe I just said that as a doctor. But anyway, my voice that I hear can sometimes have different aspects to it. And sometimes it whispers to me, and you would call this intuition. Perhaps intuition is much easier than a spiritual path. So intuition would guide me, and it would tell me to do things. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And it would lead to good things. And so I was very curious in this. But more than that, I was very interested in flow state because I could play amazing tennis, I could pass exams, I could do things, day went well. And consulting requires flow state. It doesn't require flow state. It just makes it a whole lot more beneficial if I'm in flow state, where I'm consulting for 3.5 hours with person after person after person, and to be present with them, to be fully engaged with them. This is what we're talking about in this category of being. And being can be enhanced, in my experience, with meditation or mindfulness. These hopefully are not too alien concepts to you. As a doctor, you probably should be doing them yourself daily and also recommending that your patients do them daily. I seriously doubt, with the amount of difficulty that most people are facing, that getting by without meditation is putting them at risk of sedation. Taking alcohol, taking drugs, taking sex, taking porn, taking a whole bunch of stuff, gambling, to sedate the feelings of stress, which should be managed by meditation. And, as you have seen me do every day, stacking. What is stacking? Stacking is the ability to go through a series of questions and clarify the difficulties in my life, clarify how I feel about them, clarify what I'm going to do about them. It's pretty simple. But to leave those unresolved or to face them with an unstructured experience, not so good. Could you go and deal with this with a therapist? Absolutely. It's just doing therapy every day. Yeah, it's hard. The therapist is like, dude, I haven't got space for you to come daily. And it's expensive. So the stack is a series of questions to ask myself, clarify my life, and do something about it. So this other idea of balance, you might have heard me say balance. What is balance? Well, balance for us as doctors traditionally has been very difficult. And that is the idea of work-life balance. And what's this life? Well, for me, it's my wife, it's my kids, it's my family. It's also me, my enjoyment, my extracurricular activities, surfing, playing the harmonium, which kind of gets across into the being category a little bit, but whatever. If you don't know what a harmonium is, look it up. Krishna Das is the guru of harmoniums and chanting. But balance, to contact two people that I care about and let them know that I care about them. And then finally, business. Business means study. Studying something every day. Medicine to be studied every day. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. What are you interested in? What's going on in the world of medicine? It's fascinating. I mean, we have so much going on. You need to keep on top of this stuff. And potentially sharing it with other people. Do you have to do it live like I'm doing with you? No. Publicly live? Probably not. Most of you probably not up for that. It's hard. It's a challenge. It's like, let me go live daily. Okay. But these four things, these core four, enable you to have a sense of certainty, of power, of the ability to get through your day. Know that your day as a doctor is highly stressful. My day has been long. My day requires a degree of presence and certainty and skill as a doctor because we have a high position of responsibility. And if you struggle with this idea of certainty, then that can easily creep into high levels of anxiety and impairment. If you happen to get in trouble badly enough with impairment, then you'll be reported, and this sucks. They still will not help you particularly well. They're not going to come and say, hey, you know what would be really good? if you did some exercise every day, if you did some meditation every day, if you told the people that you care about that you care about them. Now, should you do this with the same person over and over? No, they probably will not appreciate that. But hopefully you have at least 14 people in your life that you can tell them that you care about. That's going to take you 2 weeks. Hey, I was thinking about you today. Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, I'm grateful for you in my life. And you don't know what that could do. You don't know what that could do. That might make all the difference in the world. So if you are interested in learning how to do this so that you can have more certainty and more power, I want you to send me a DM. Send me a DM and let me know. Hey, I'm interested in this idea of being more certain in my life. We are facing great difficulties in the medical profession. Our patients are coming in stressed out, lost, overweight, obese, struggling. They are looking to you as a doctor for advice. But if you don't have anything, or you know about it, but it's only knowledge and it's not something you live, you're in trouble. You can't help them. First of all, fill your own cup. Look after yourself. Get your life working. And then you can let others know. My life works. Made it through a long day. Happily. On point. Present. Yes, systems and checklists help, but underlying that, 2 key things, the stack and the core. You want to know them? Send me a DM. That's all I got for you. I'm going to go and crash out tonight. See you guys all tomorrow. See you then.